Point Park Track and Field opens the indoor season, NFL Week 14 makes waves in the standings, and anticipation rises for where an NBA star will go next. For the final time this semester, it's time to come on down to Pioneer Sideline. Good evening and welcome to Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Matt Palangi, back for another week of sports news. We have all the Point Park and national news for you, as well as predictions of a big move in the NBA. To start, Serenity Jackson makes her sideline debut reporting on Point Park basketball. Serenity?
That's right, Matt. Point Park men's basketball entered their second season in the NCAA, aiming with a new head coach. Coach Grant is, with immediate excitement to develop this new Mountain East Conference program, is currently sitting at 0 wins and 5 losses. After winning a conference championship just 2 years ago, this Pioneer Hoops team is still going through growing pains of entering the NCAA. Although a rocky start, this team has been scoring a consistent pace in their first 5 games. They have not scored less than 71 or more than 77. In the team's most recent game against conference opponent and last year's Mountain East Conference runner-up, the West Liberty Hilltoppers, the Pioneers' fall came on the defensive side, where they gave up a season high of 104 points to the opposition. The Pioneers were fighting behind the efficient transfer, Greg Williams, who led the team in scoring with 13 points, 5 of 7 from the field. Williams is a 6'4" senior who transferred in from the University of D.C. Williams also went for 17 points in the first team's first conference game matchup against Willing and continues to make his mark as a new addition to the Pioneers team. The Pioneers' rebounding improved versus West Liberty when they won that statistic of 36 boards to the Hilltoppers' 27. Though this rebounding improvement is a positive, the Pioneers still fall 0-5 record as they continue to conference play through the holiday season. The women's team gets a positive accomplishment and a negative injury report. Starting point guard, true freshman Lexi Adams reported has a broken tibia bone. Adams, in her first collegiate year, is averaging 10 points and 7 rebounds as a starting point guard for the Pioneers.
Point Park Track and Field flocked to Ohio for the indoor season's first competition, where the squad took part in the Youngstown State University Icebreaker Meet. The first Pioneer of the day to peek their way into the top 5, Jan Ray, the junior dropping a 7-second .06 in the 60-meter hurdles. Next up, the men took to the 5K, where top cross-country runners showed their shape. Eli Bechtel and Sideline's own Luke McKenna both outdid the previous school record. Bechtel's 15 minutes and 10 seconds, the new top mark, and good for 9th, was followed by McKenna, moving at 15 minutes and 16 seconds for 12th. Scaling down to the 1,600-meter, freshman Pedro Lemos set the bar high with a 4-minute 19-second finish in his debut, finishing 4th in the field and fractions of a second off the winner. The women welcomed the grind of the 800-meter, the flying freshman Aubrey Smith finishing runner-up with a 2-minute 19-second and sophomore Paige McMahon moving with a 2-minute 24-second. Good to grab 6th place. Returning from injury, Ika Vanderlei stayed sub 9 minutes in the 3K. 8 minutes 55 seconds wins his heat and places 5th across the full field. Flipping to the field events, Dunya Van Den Toren broke the women's high jump record. The sophomore soared 1.70 meters, 4th place for the efforts. A long jump leap of 5.75 meters also earned 4th overall, 2nd in school history. Alexis Heller slung the shot put 12.21 meters in her debut, snagging 7th place with a school record. Another Anfield freshman found her way into the record books. Jenna Manson's 12.88 meter mark with the weight throw, now Point Park's premier toss. Now that's all for Point Park sports, but we have all the action this Saturday. Women's wrestling travels to Tiffin, Ohio for the Berg Holiday Duels. Women's basketball faces Davis and Elkins at home, and men's basketball plays its home opener right after at 4 p.m. Tune in for more Pioneer updates right here in January, and as always, go Pioneers! After the break, NFL news and discussions that you don't want to miss. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now Megan Lukic is on site with an update on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Well, despite a shootout loss to the Dallas Stars on Sunday, the Pittsburgh Penguins finished off a difficult 3-game road trip, earning a 5 out of possible 6 points during that span. Following a 5-1 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers on Monday, the team headed south down to Tampa Bay, where they defeated the Lightning 4-3. And it looked like this game was going to be heading into overtime after the Lightning tied it with just over a minute to go. But a league-initiated review led to the goal being called back after it was ruled there was a missed stoppage due to a hand pass. Forward Evgeny Malkin scored 2 goals in this game, including the game winner, and the Pens also got rookie contributions from forwards Ben Kindle and Ville Koivunen, who scored his first career NHL goal. And before the game in Dallas on Sunday, the Penguins got good news and bad news on the injury front. Forwards Justin Brazeau and Noel Acciari were activated off of the injured reserve after missing nearly 4 weeks of action, but Evgeny Malkin was ruled out for this game and is currently listed as day-to-day. And Dallas tied the game at 2-2 late in the third period, and Stars forward Mikko Rantanen scored the only goal in the shootout to give his team the 3-2 victory. The Penguins' goal scorers in this game were forwards Connor Dewar and Tommy Novak. Captain Sidney Crosby got the secondary assist on Novak's goal in Dallas, and with that assist, Crosby just needs 7 more points in order to pass Mario Lemieux to become the Penguins' all-time leader in points. And Crosby will look to do that in front of the home crowd as the Penguins begin a 5-game homestand on Tuesday at 7 p.m., where they face off against the Pacific Division leading Anaheim Ducks. For Pioneer Sideline, I'm Megan Lukic.
From the ice to the field, now for what happened in Week 14. Luke McKenna has all the info. Luke?
That's right, Matt. Week 14 of the NFL season had some crazy QB duels and 2 stud rookie QBs going at it for the first time. We'll start in Buffalo, where 2 of the biggest names under center faced off. Bengals get an early lead, score now 7-3. Joe Burrow, 3 for 3, connects with T on the toe tap to get him in the end zone from 21 yards away. 14-3, Bills on the attack. Now, 14 plays later, Josh Allen finds himself scrambling on 4th and 4, but casts some magic to Khalil Shakir for the touchdown. Score now 14-11. Joe Burrow marches down the field, scrambling on 1st and goal, finds Chase Brown in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown number 2. First half wrapped up, Josh Allen connects with his other tight end, Dalton Kincaid, to bring the score back within 3. Tight end being the recipe for success, Joe Burrow follows suit, adding 6 more, connecting with Mike Gesicki, and the Bengals ordered a gritty with that touchdown. Josh Allen, facing an upset, throws 2 quick first downs before he finds open space, frolicking through the snow, 40 yards, laughing all the way to the end zone, 28-25. Joe Burrow back on the attack, trying to hold off the Bills, gets past midfield before he gift wraps a touchdown. Screen pass is intercepted by Christian Benford, and he jingles all the way for 6. Game has been flipped. Burrow, now trailing for the first time since his return from injury, needs to score here, but not so fast, as he's tipped and intercepted again on the very next play of the new drive. Christmas came 3 weeks early for the Bills. Josh Allen would connect with Jackson Hawes on 4th and goal to extend the lead 39-28. Joey B would hurry down the field, finding T. Higgins again for the one-hander on the touchdown, but the clock did not wait. Bills would escape with Josh Allen icing it on a first down charge, winning 39-34. Burrow finishes 25 for 36 with 284 yards, 4 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions cost him this game. Allen finishes 22-28, 251 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 78 on the ground, and a score. Bills remain in contention for the AFC East. The Bengals, however, will not be seeing the postseason for the 2nd year in a row. Staying in the AFC North, the Browns' rookie trio was on full display. Star rookie Shedeur Sanders faces off against number 1 pick Cam Ward. Starting from behind, 14-3, Sanders finds his rookie running back Quinshon Judkins on the dump-off, who gets a block, and he is gone. Almost. Judkins takes it 58 yards, but is stopped 2 yards short of the end zone. 3rd and goal still at the 2. Sanders would connect with his veteran tight end for 6. Now 14-10, nearing halftime, Browns get the ball back. Sanders scrambles up the middle for 14 to move the chains. 2nd play of the drive would be the last play of the drive. Sanders finds Jerry Jeudy to award him with the touchdown, 60 yards for 6 points. Browns offense would struggle for most of the second half, falling 31-17. But Sanders was not ready to quit. 9 plays, 53 yards, less than 2 minutes needed, and Sanders scrambles it up the middle for 7 yards to add 7 points to the scoreboard. Browns defense would hold steady, forcing a punt. Sanders gets the ball in hurry up and connects with Fannin for the 8th time. The rookie tight end mosses his opponent for the touchdown. Browns would go for 2 in a hilarious questionable coaching decision where Sanders was not even on the field. Judkins fails the Wildcat formation, and the Titans escape 31-29. Cam Ward gets the win, but wasn't too impressive, going 14 for 28 with 117 yards, 2 TDs, and an INT. Shedeur Sanders had a historic game, throwing 23 for 42 for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and added 29 more in a score on the ground. He's the first Browns rookie to throw for 300-plus yards since Baker Mayfield in 2018. Harold Fannin has a career game, 8 for 118, and a score, eclipsing the century mark for the first time of many times in his career. Staying on track with the AFC North, I'm joined by host Matt Palangi to discuss who the AFC favorite should be.
Yeah, that's right, Luke. The AFC's been really, really interesting this year because a lot of people say there's a favorite here, and the Chiefs, I think, could still win it. Now, the Chiefs are probably going to miss the playoffs. The Bills look good for 1 week. They lose a game to a team that they shouldn't lose to, and there's just no AFC favorite. So I want to hear from you. Who do you think the AFC favorite should be?
I think it's not a question. I think the Patriots are the only team that they really haven't shown any flaws, other than back in Week 3 when they lost to the Steelers. That was their only, and Week 1, but ever since then they've been pretty much perfect, beating the Bills, beating the Bucks. They haven't struggled or played down to any opponents. They've looked good in every game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the reason that a lot of teams aren't jumping on the Patriots is because they haven't done it without Tom Brady yet. So a lot of teams are not counting them in. I love that. That's why I love that you brought that up, because for me, I think the Patriots are the clear best team in the AFC. It's just we got to get this out of our head that because they haven't done it with Drake May, that all of a sudden they shouldn't do it. And Drake May probably should, at this point, maybe be in the MVP conversation too. Would you agree?
I think he is. I think he's the favorite right now, actually. But if I had to talk about another team, obviously we could talk about the Broncos, but they're a team that likes to play down to their opponent. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick another team that I think looks really good, I like the Texans. Their defense is unstoppable. And they have some really sneaky weapons on offense, and I think they could definitely make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, Will Anderson's been one of the best edge rushers this year. He was great last year, too, in the run game and the pass game. And you have Daniil Hunter on the opposite side of him, Derek Stingley at corner. They have no soft spots on the defense. My biggest issue with them is, can Stroud step up? Because he has not been that great this year. And they went 3-0 with Davis Mills.
He hasn't been that great this year, but he was pretty good against the Chiefs this Sunday. And they're on a 5-game win streak. I think they're the hottest team in the league right now, and I don't know if there's a better team in the AFC other than the Patriots. So yeah, I think they can make a lot of noise. And then I think the third team's the Broncos. Yeah, those are the top 3 in my opinion, and they all have a common theme. They all have really good defense, and that's why they've been as good as they've been this year.
So what about the Chargers and the Jags? Those have been teams that have been kind of brought up in the fraud conversation. After seeing the game against the Eagles, I know the Eagles have been kind of struggling, third straight loss. I think that Chargers defense looks pretty darn good, and Justin Herbert has the tools to be a playoff-winning quarterback, but he's been really bad in the playoffs so far in his career. So what do you think about the Chargers?
I don't see that changing. I think they'll continue to fall in the playoffs as good as they've been. Their O-line's too banged up. A lot of their weapons are too banged up. Justin Herbert himself, he's pretty banged up. And their offense is just way too inconsistent, and that's the same problem I have with Denver.
Yeah. So. Herbert was under pressure, it seemed like every single time against Philly.
Yeah, that game was rough, very rough.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think Rashawn Slater is hurt, right? Or Joe Alt. Joe Alt's out.
I think both of them are.
Yeah, so that hurts their tackles completely.
They're missing 3 or 4 starters.
Yeah, it's very, very likely that they could fall off. Well, thank you for that, Luke.
Yeah.
When we come back, more breaking sports news that you don't want to miss. Stay tuned.
It's a tough crowd.
Welcome back. Now, Layla Shervon has the latest on a professional rapper turned college athlete. Layla?
Rapper Tusi is somewhere singing his favorite song after making one of the biggest decisions of his life. Najir Granger, who goes by the stage name Tusi, committed to play Division I football at Syracuse University on December 1st as part of their 2026 recruiting class. In August of this year, Tusi announced on social media that he will be, quote, chasing history by becoming the first multi-platinum artist to return to school and play football. Tusi was born in Syracuse and moved to North Carolina at a young age and has not returned back. Once he got the call from head coach Fran Brown Jr., he described the opportunity as, quote, a sign from God. Tusi is no stranger to the field and played as a receiver at his high school before focusing on music. While it is not clear what kind of organized football Tusi has played in the past several years, he has drawn the attention of Maryland, USC, and Duke before picking his hometown. Syracuse just finished their 2025 season at 3-9 overall and 1-7 in Atlantic Coast Conference play. Syracuse 2026 home opener is tentatively set for September 6th versus New Hampshire, and whether this ends up being a major athletic success or a more personal passion project, Tusi is receiving and bringing attention to the university, himself, and his music. Next, after 23 years, we now know exactly who will stand opposite John Cena for his final match, and Marcus Betts has the update. Marcus?
This Saturday, December 13th, at the Capital One Arena, John Cena will wrestle for the last time, and his opponent is Gunther. Gunther didn't just get this opportunity, he earned it. Last Friday, in the finals of the grueling Last Time Is Now tournament, Gunther defeated LA Knight in a brutal main event to earn this right, to end the John Cena era. Think about that journey through a 16-man field to a main event showdown with one of WWE's biggest stars, all for one honor, to be the last man to ever share the ring with John Cena. And in a move that defines Cena's selfless career, this tournament winning main event will actually open the show this Saturday. We've learned that WWE wanted a 2-hour tribute special. Cena said no. He wanted the night to look forward. So after Cena and Gunther write the final chapter, the rest of the show will be dedicated to the next generation, facing veterans just like Cena once had to prove himself against legends like Kurt Angle. It's the full circle final act, a legacy built on 650 Make-A-Wish wishes, now making room for the future on his own terms. And for anyone wondering if the door is still open, Cena slammed it shut on Kimmel, saying, quote, "I am 100% done. I will never wrestle again," end quote. So this Saturday on Peacock, history happens. In the opening match, John Cena's last stand against the tournament champion Gunther will not be the main event, but the next step into whatever comes next. Now to Ryan Quinn on recent controversy surrounding Liverpool. Ryan?
You got that right. After Liverpool won the Premier League with the help of a record-breaking campaign from Mohamed Salah, it looks like things would be looking up for the reigning champions. However, after a rough start to the Premier League season, it looks like there is some trouble in paradise. Going 3 games benched in a row is a first for Mo Salah, and after the 3rd game, he had an interview airing out his grievances towards the club, his manager Arne Slot, and some of the pundits across the football world. He believes that Liverpool are throwing him under the bus with saying, quote, "How I see it now is like you throw Mo under the bus because he is the problem in the team now. But I don't think I am the problem. I have done so much for this club," end quote, quote. Slot had a response to the thrown under the bus comment after being asked if it was him being referred to, saying, quote, "The only person who can answer that is Mo himself. I can guess, but I don't think that is the right thing to do at this moment in time. It is hard for me to tell who he means in that situation." With the Africa Cup of Nations coming up and not making the trip with Liverpool to their Champions League match against Inter Milan and the backlash of his comments from pundits and Arne Slot, this could be the end of an era for the Liverpool legend. Back to you at the desk, Matt.
And that is all for your national stories this week. Finally, we debate the future of the NBA's Greek Freak. Stay tuned.
2, 1. Take them, cue them, open their mics.
Today marked the 1-year anniversary of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette strike.
Point Park University just hosted a campus-wide meeting.
Plans for the rapid transit bus line are not set to conclude until 2025.
Welcome back. The Milwaukee Bucks organization and their superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo have engaged in talks regarding his future, and I'm joined by Luke and Adam to debate Giannis's best trade destination. So recently we found out that Giannis and his agent went to the Milwaukee Bucks managers and talked about his future as a Milwaukee Buck. I want to hear generally, is he even going to leave, or what is his best trade destination?
I feel like Giannis is a pretty loyal guy, but with today's NBA and, you know, how often team hopping is, I think he is definitely going to get traded somewhere within the next year. The Bucks need to start rebuilding now. They have no one other than Giannis. So, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if he's going to get traded, to be honest. You know, right now the Thunder are probably building a little bit of a dynasty right now, and to trade for Giannis, you're going to have to gut your team a little bit. And I think there's only probably 2 or 3 teams that are capable of doing that while competing with the Thunder at this current moment. Obviously, they're 23-1 right now, and I just don't see Giannis getting traded at this point.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. Giannis is probably the most valuable player to ever be on the trade block. I don't think there's ever been a player as good as him to get traded. I think there's obviously a Thunder, one of them. There's only 2 other teams probably that have the capital to acquire him, and I would say that's the Spurs, the Timberwolves, and then you could probably throw the Rockets in there. That's really it.
I think the Timberwolves is probably, I would say, the team that stands out the most, because let's be real about the Thunder. Yes, they have the best dynasty. They're the best team. They've lost 1 game, and it was to the Blazers and on some random, I don't know, Friday night. Nonetheless, the Thunder are not trading for Giannis, and if they did for Giannis, that would be a very, very stupid move. They have lost 1 game this year. They just won the finals last year. They do have the best pieces because they have all these picks. They have all these young guys that have so much value. But I don't know. I personally think that would be terrible for the Thunder if they got Giannis.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think them trading for Giannis would be a huge mistake. I don't see the need to do it. Obviously, right now they have the core that they need to win championships as they did last year. I will say I do think the Spurs are probably the favorite to land Giannis if he's going to get traded. I think Harper or Castle's going to have to be part of that trade. And I don't know.
Probably both. I would say
probably both if they don't want to have to trade, you know, half their roster and a bunch of first-round picks. And I don't really know if the Spurs want to do that, especially with Wembanyama. I don't know. That would be too risky, I think, to risk the future, especially because he's on a rookie contract right now, though. They could afford to take on, you know, Giannis's max. I do like the Timberwolves, though. I think, you know, Randall, probably McDaniels, and a couple other
have to trade
first-round picks.
Dillingham, too. Maybe
Shannon. Maybe Nas Reed in that trade.
Well, Jaden McDaniels has a lot of trade value. I can't lie. I think Jaden McDaniels would stand out as a big trade piece, but they love that guy. That guy's, like, untouchable in their eyes. Every time I see, like, Timberwolves trade rumors, it's like, they're just not going to get rid of Jaden McDaniels at all. I think Gobert and Julius Randle you're okay with getting rid of for 100%. Yeah. I don't see how the Timberwolves hold on to those guys instead of Giannis.
I just don't think the Bucks would willingly trade Giannis for Rudy Gobert, like in any circumstances.
It would have to be like Julius Randle plus like Rob Dillingham. I don't know how many picks they have, but another wild card could be Atlanta. They have the Pelicans pick this year. They have Jalen Johnson. They have a bunch of young guys.
They have Hoopin too.
They could definitely.
I definitely see Trae Young in a package for that.
The Hawks have enough to get it done, but like it's the Hawks.
Trae Young? You think Trae Young would be in a trade for Giannis?
I think if the Hawks were going to go for it, they would have to trade Trae Young.
What about they won't be able to do New York then?
No, I think you're wrong. I think the only guy they would need to keep in that trade is Trae Young, because I think if you put Trae Young with a guy like Giannis, that just instantly elevates both of them. Trae Young loves to pass the ball. He loves to throw lobs. So he could definitely.
I'm saying it more or less from like the perspective of like who the Bucks think is like going to be a, because they're not going to trade Jalen Johnson. I don't think he would be.
They
traded.
would have to. They would have to trade.
I don't think they would want to though at that point.
I mean, that's the only way. If you want to get Giannis, you got to trade. You got to trade a guy, and they also have one of the most valuable picks this year with the Pelicans' first-round pick.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's the Spurs, honestly, because you have to make an uncomfortable trade to trade Giannis, and they have the 2 best players to offer, I would say, in the Bucks' eyes, because they're going to want young players and picks, of course.
But I feel like the Spurs should keep like one of those young guys. I feel like Devin Vassell is really, really good for them. I feel like it depends who has more value for them, Harper, Castle and like Vassell. You got to give her like the two guys that like, because I think Devin Vassell's really good, but I don't think you can give up like your two rookies. Like Steven Castle just won Rookie of the Year last year. Like I don't think you give up both of them.
But we're talking about Giannis. We're talking about top 3 player in the league. Like
future matter. We saw what the Thunder did. They didn't trade for a big name guy. I guess Shea was like a trade, but he was younger at the time. Like they traded all these young pieces, and they set the boundary for the NBA. I know you love it, but they set the boundary for making an NBA team. You want to get as many picks as possible now because that's how it is. Because talent is so good.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's also on the Clippers. That's one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Yeah,
but definitely picks. You just got to build it through picks. And that's why I think Portland's in it, because you're going to want to control your own destiny if you're the Bucks.
Who's Portland have to trade? Their best players, Jeremy Grant.
It's more about, I was talking about just like picks, because like.
Drew Holiday is the best player.
They have the.
Deni Avdia's averaging 25.
Who?
Deni Avdia is averaging like 25.
Deni is hooping, but like that's your only trade piece. It's Deni.
It's more. It's
they
more or
wouldn't
less
trade him. They
getting their
would
picks back from Portland. I think would be what they would want, so they are controlling their own destiny in terms of tanking. Like they're not gonna give them the Portland. That's 2 top 10 picks at this rate, especially if Giannis is gonna get traded. Milwaukee's team is terrible, so they're not gonna continue.
I also think Giannis is kind of gonna get a say in like where he goes. There's no way he's gonna be okay with going to the Portland Trailblazers, who have Deni Avdia, who honestly might be in that trade piece for Giannis, and Drew Holiday, who I guess like is a really good player. Don't get me wrong, but come on, like that he doesn't want to play for that team. The only team that's ever like been intriguing about Giannis, like they for sure can get Giannis, is New York. And so we haven't talked about New York yet, so I want to talk about them. I personally don't think New York seems that interested in Giannis. I think that they're kind of cool with what they have.
They traded 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. What else do they have?
Exactly.
They don't have any young players. They don't have any picks. They don't have anything they can use to get Giannis unless they want to trade Cat.
But like, if I'm Milwaukee, I don't want Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
he's 30. I wouldn't take that.
Well, Giannis is also 30.
But Giannis is a generational player.
Yeah, that's 2 completely different players.
We saw Luka get traded for AD, but we're talking about Giannis here. Giannis is a generational player.
Top 3
We've
player
never
in the
seen
league,
a player as good as him in these kind of talks.
That's why I also say that, like, yes, we're saying Giannis won't get traded because that's probably kind of where, like, it seems the most likely. But after that Luka trade, like, it opens up a whole new thing. Like, teams are willing to do anything. Yes, Nico Harrison probably is not the smartest guy. That probably is
a dumb trade.
Now, right at the time, I tried defending it a little bit, but that's the worst trade in NBA history. It's going to go down
trading
that way.
Luka and getting no first-round picks is
so that opens up. So there could be something out there where Milwaukee's like, yeah, this guy's hating on us. This guy doesn't want to be here anymore, so we're just going to ship him off. But it has to be for valuable pieces, and someone's going to blow up their future. So just final thoughts. I want to know, is Giannis going to stay? And if he doesn't stay, where is he going to be?
I don't see him getting traded. I don't think any team is willing to take the risk. I don't think any team's brave enough. But if he were to get traded, I think either Atlanta or San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think he's not getting traded. But if he does get traded, I think San Antonio is the best bet.
I think that he is probably not going to get traded right now, but I think he probably will get traded probably at the end of the season. I just don't see it happening in the middle of the season right now. It just doesn't make sense. But I do think if he does get traded, I'm going to go with Minnesota or New York. Somehow New York pulls it off. But good conversation, and that is sadly all the time we have this week and this year. Be sure to join us next year at the same Pioneer time, the same Pioneer channel, and the same Pioneer Sideline.